There's a particular kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from laziness, and it doesn't come from lack of discipline. It comes from caring, from showing up, from saying yes, and from being dependable, from being the one people count on. Here's what I know about the women listening to this podcast. You don't burn out because you lack commitment. You burn out because you shine bright. And bright fires, if they're not tended, eventually consume the very fuel that made them possible. That's why so many exhausted achievers don't fade quietly. They shine, and then they crash. That's why I have today's episode, episode 20, Burn Bright, Don't Burn Out. You're getting my 4 proven practices that will enable you to protect your fire without saying no to what matters, to reclaim your energy with my CHPC Daily Recharge, to say no with grace, boundaries that honor your calling, and sustain your shine with faith-fueled longevity. Oh, and you can grab your free Burnout Buster worksheet at goalsandgrace.co/burnout. That's goalsandgrace.co/burnout. And you can find the link in the show notes. Are you ready to protect your fire? Because if you've been struggling to maintain enough physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual energy to live your best life, I'm glad you're here because today we're going to fix that. Welcome to Goals and Grace, the podcast for accomplished women who are ready to align their ambition with faith and step into their highest potential. I'm Reverend Juliet Spencer, a certified high-performance coach and former pastor, and I'm here to help you break free from imposter syndrome, embrace gratitude, and lead with clarity, purpose, and peace. Each week, I'll share faith-filled encouragement, personal stories, and proven strategies from books like High Performance Habit, as well as from my coaching program, The Purpose and Peace Pathway, to help you achieve success without apology. You'll walk away with tools to lead boldly, live intentionally, and honor the calling on your life. Let's step into our calling together. Don't forget to follow the podcast and share it with a friend who's ready to grow. Most of us were taught explicitly or implicitly that energy is something you have or don't have. When we're having a good season, we have high energy. A hard season, we're having low energy. And if we have a busy week, we're taught just to power through. And because you're capable, you do. Because you're faithful, because you've always done it, you do. But here's the problem. If you believe energy is situational, you'll keep living at the mercy of your circumstances. And that means your calendar decides the quality of your life. Let me say that again for the people in the back. That means your calendar decides the quality of your life. Now let's just let that sink in for a minute. One of the most helpful ideas from high-performance research, taught clearly by high-performance coach and thought leader Brendon Burchard, is this. High performers don't wait for energy. They generate it. Not once, not occasionally, but consistently. Because energy is not a personality trait, and it's not a mood. It's not a reward for finishing your to-do list. Energy is stewardship, and stewardship, biblically speaking, always assumes responsibility, not guilt. So let's talk about where energy actually comes from, because it's not just physical and it's not just spiritual either. It's layered. Number 1, physical energy. This is the most obvious and the one most high-capacity women quietly ignore. Not because they don't know better, but because they believe everyone else's needs matter more. Sleep, movement, fuel, breath, these are not indulgent. They're foundational. For years, I treated my body like a very polite employee, always available, rarely consulted. Maybe you can relate. Now I work in 50-minute focused blocks and then I stop. I take a break, not because I'm finished, because I'm wise enough to want my best energy to last all day. And sure, it was awkward at first because rest feels irresponsible when you've been rewarded for exhaustion. 2. Mental energy. Mental exhaustion doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from holding too much. Unmade decisions, unspoken boundaries, internal negotiations you keep having with yourself. Questions like, am I doing enough? Should I be handling this better? Why does this feel harder for me than for others? Clarity restores mental energy. Not more motivation, not better hacks. Clarity. Because once you decide, your mind can rest. One client discovered this the hard way. She felt easily overwhelmed, constantly putting off even small decisions. She had no idea the toll that those were taking on her mental energy. But once she committed to making decisions on the spot, her shoulders relaxed and her capacity soared. That's the power of mental clarity. Number 3, emotional energy. This is where so many women are quietly depleted. Emotional energy leaks when you're managing other people's reactions or carrying expectations you never agreed to. Silencing your own feelings so things stay smooth. You don't regain emotional energy by becoming tougher. You regain it by becoming truer. Naming what you feel and allowing it to matter. Responding with compassion instead of critique. You are not required to earn rest by over-functioning. Years ago, supervising 2 staffers in conflict, I caught myself minimizing their issues to keep the peace. It was costing me emotional energy, managing their reactions, silencing my frustration. So I stopped. I called them in my office and said, "You two have to listen to each other, find common ground, and take personal responsibility, because this hurts everyone." Boundaries were restored and my energy returned. Thankfully, team peace followed. Number 4, spiritual energy. Now, this is the one that changes everything. Spiritual exhaustion does not come from lack of faith. It comes from living as though everything depends on you. But even Jesus withdrew, not because he was weak, but because he knew the source. Spiritual energy returns when we remember that we are not the origin of the work. We are participants in it. God isn't asking you to be infinite. God already is. So here's what I want you to do this week. Nothing dramatic, but once a day, pause and ask, where is my energy right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, where is my energy right now? No fixing, no judging, just noticing. Then choose one of the 4 dials to adjust: physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. Just one. Because I promise, one small, faithful adjustment at a time compounds faster than heroic efforts that end up exhausting you, which obviously defeats the purpose. This is why energy coaching matters so much. Coaching doesn't just help you have better days, it helps you build repeatable rhythms so that your life stops swinging between adrenaline and depletion. Instead of asking, why am I so tired? You start asking, what would restore me right now? And that question changes how you live. So grab your free Burnout Buster worksheet now at goalsandgrace.co/burnout. And to my French sisters shining bright, merci.
Votre feu brille déjà. Continuerez.
Hopefully, I didn't butcher that too badly. Next week, join me for episode 21, Raise Your Necessity. It's why high performers don't wait for motivation, they generate it. And you will too. Until next week, my friend, God bless.